All right, folks, and we are live. Thank you guys all so much for chiming in for the latest post-game show here in WardyNYM. Sorry, guys. I need a minute. I need a minute. First and foremost, to everyone chiming in the show, thank you guys so much for being in here. Again, make sure to smash that like and subscribe. As always, folks, it's greatly appreciated. First thing that I would like to say to the Atlanta Braves and their fans, everyone watching the show live or on replay, congratulations. You guys have won the NL East after the Mets had it in their firm grasp for the majority of the season. And the Mets only have themselves to blame, and the Braves deserve all the credit in the world for being a phenomenal baseball team. By far the better between the two in the series that mattered most this year. One team decided to show up from starting pitching to bullpen to offense, and one team did not. And the team that did not is my beloved New York Mets. And that is why this is going to be an absolute shit show of a show for however long we go on today. We're gonna try to do our podcast tonight, no guarantees, so this won't be a crazy long show. Man, I'm at a loss for words. I really am. I mean, I want to scream my head off, but I don't even know. Like, we're going to deep dive this ball game. You guys know the drill. We have the laundry list of notes from this ball game. We'll get into it in a little bit. But right now, I just want to see everyone's raw reactions. That's all I want. You know, for a Mets team that, again, is on pace, if they win their series against the Nationals, will be a 100-win team this year. Going into the year, all Mets fans and their mothers would have been absolutely ecstatic with a 100-win season. There are no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And there's no denying that a 100-win season for the New York Mets after what they did in year one under Steve Cohen is nothing short of impressive. But how the Mets have allowed the title that's been in their hand all year long to slip away when it mattered most is not only inexcusable, it's not only embarrassing, it's straight up pathetic. Chris Bassett was anything but good for the New York Mets tonight. The offense, while finally getting a home run swing, did not have enough once again. And the Braves outclassed the Mets in every way humanly possible in this series. What do you do at that point? The division is theirs. I'm going to be in attendance for the Mets' first playoff game this year. Was not expecting it to be this Friday against the San Diego Padres, and here we are. Thank you for the dono, JV. I appreciate that donation. And again, I know we're going to get endless trolls in the chat for my Braves fans. Again, you guys deserve to talk the talk all you want. Never going to be that fan to say that you can't do exactly that after you guys, again, just took care of business without a real problem against the New York Mets. Dansby Swanson absolutely raked against the Mets this entire series. He was Freddie Freeman. He was Chipper Jones 2.0, 3.0. The bullpen, Kenley Jansen, who we love to rag on, had no problem in the ninth. 3 straight nights. Raisel Iglesias, no problem pitching in every single game this series. Everyone for the Atlanta Braves did exactly what they were supposed to for the most part in this series. And the Mets, regardless of the fact that they did not have one of their best players in Starling Marte, did absolutely nothing. There are zero excuses from a Mets fan perspective evaluating this team. There are zero excuses to justify dropping this series, being swept, other than the fact that the Braves are simply the better team, and they have clearly proven that. What is going to happen come postseason? We will worry about it when we get there. Hopefully the Mets can reset because they're going to have no time to reset to go for their homestand starting tomorrow against the Nationals. I can only imagine what the fan attendance is going to be. I mean, for, again, a Mets team that very well will clinch 100 wins on the year, their final homestand, I will be beyond surprised if you see any remotely close sold-out crowds. That is how gutted this fan base is right now. The Mets played 500 ball the worst time possible. The Mets are 15-13 since their Dodgers series, or right around the Dodgers series. And this wouldn't sting nearly as much if you saw what the Mets did against the Chicago Cubs and they actually did what they were supposed to. But no, this team could not beat below 500 clubs. Absolutely pathetic. They should not have to roll into Atlanta with the division on the line. But they did because they set themselves up for failure. The Mets, who were phenomenal all year long, choked at the absolute worst time. This is the exact worst scenario if you were the New York Mets, if you were a fan of theirs, to be following them all year to see what they have had in what is a historic season. All things considered, there's no denying. But they choked and did not step up to the plate when it mattered most. They're going to have little to no momentum heading into playoffs whatsoever. I have no fucking clue what to expect. I am absolutely disgusted with what the amount of awesome things I could have done this weekend instead of staying away from my family, friends, girlfriend to cover this god-awful baseball team over the weekend is ridiculous. And again, the Braves are an amazing team. I understand that. I understand that wholeheartedly. This is not something where it's like the Chicago Cubs sweep level where the Mets got outclassed by a lesser opponent. No, the Braves are the better team. They have made that by winning the 10 out of 19 games against the Mets this year. They have the season series in their grasp. That's why the Braves are going to win this division, and it would not be surprising at all if it happens as soon as tomorrow. All they need is one win against the Miami Marlins. You think the Miami Marlins are going to stop the Atlanta Braves? No. I'm not even going to bother to scoreboard watch. We know the Braves have won this division. They have 100% won this division. Holy shit, man. Absolutely pathetic. Absolutely pathetic what the New York Mets were able to do, or rather lack thereof, in the biggest series of the year. Jacob deGrom didn't have his best stuff, but kept the Mets in the ball game, and they had no offense in game one. Game two, Max Scherzer had one of his worst starts of the entire season at the worst time possible. The man you're paying $40+ million a year doesn't show up in the biggest start of the year for the New York Mets. Chris Bassett, who's looking for a new contract for this offseason and gets shelled. Can't even go 3 full innings for the New York Mets in Atlanta today. The offense, few and far in between. Few and far in between. If you're not named Jeff McNeil, you weren't good. Francisco Lindor, utter trash this series. Actually pathetic. Lindor's at-bats were so atrocious, especially today, it was disgusting to watch. Especially for a Francisco Lindor, who has stepped up to the plate in so many big series earlier this year. Throughout the year, for the most part. Big matchups, Lindor has stepped up. Not this series, not when the Mets need their big bats. Pete Alonso, where were you, Pete? Where were you, Pete? You were not there. A red-hot Pete Alonso for the past 3 weeks. Non-existent in this series. Am I surprised that the Mets could not muster enough offense when you're relying on Jeff McNeil to get a freaking solo bomb? No, I'm not surprised. When you have to be relying on inexperienced players and Mark Vientos and Francisco Alvarez because you don't have anything better off the bench, righty on lefty, DH-wise. Daniel Vogelbach was phenomenal today, but he only lasted a couple at-bats because then they pulled him righty on lefty. So much frustration, guys. So much frustration. JV, thank you for the dono. I know we got a lot of donations. I'm going to get to them. Then we'll break down the ball game. When I say I'm going to break down the ball game, it's going to be very fast. It's going to be really, really fast. I was not planning to go to the Mets playoff game this Friday. I got to tell you that much. I was not planning nor hoping for that. I've been with you 150 games worried. This team just sucked the life out of me. Oh, they sucked the life out of me too. I'm absolutely dead right now. And it's the most gut-wrenching thing to say when the Mets are literally having a 100-win season. It makes you want to cry. As a younger fan, I want to get emotional right now. And I can give a flying fucks what anyone says in the live chat, wanting to rag me, troll me, by all means, go ahead. It's just absolutely, it's pathetic. It's beyond pathetic. It's beyond embarrassing. Couldn't even muster one fucking win. Inexcusable. No one stepped up this series. No one stepped up that needed to step up. Jeff McNeil did his job. Why? Because he's amazing. Eduardo Escobar, for the most part, did his job. Even though, again, he's a guy that you shouldn't be relying on, yet the Mets were relying on him because they weren't getting consistent offense elsewhere. The Mets' top batters in Pete Alonso and Francisco Alvarez did jack shit this entire series. Their starters did not get the job done. They did not perform what you're supposed to do in order to at least have a competitive series. And none of these losses were blowouts, but it really felt like it. As soon as the Mets lost the lead today 4-3, and I still had in my mind Eduardo Escobar on third base with no fucking outs, and you don't even drive him in, I had a strong feeling this game was done. Inexcusable. The Mets left runners stranded in multiple innings to start this ball game. It doesn't matter that you scored 3 runs throughout the first 3 innings. You want to know why? The Braves are going to make you pay. They have proven time and time again. They are going to make you pay. They did exactly that. Braves were as advertised. They just looked like such a better team comfortably, more than anything. This was far and away the most impressed I've been with the Braves all year long, matching up against them. Far more impressed with them than even when the Mets lost 3-4 last time they were in Atlanta. I really am. You know, I'm beyond impressed with the Braves. Again, I'm not surprised by the Braves' performance, but I'm impressed by them on how comfortably they handled this series and how much they made the Mets feel like that they were on their toes from the jump. When the Mets entered this goddamn series, pardon my French, I apologize, they entered this series with a 1-game lead in the division, a full 1-game lead. The Mets had one job this series, at bar minimum. One job, and that was to win 1 game. Still drop the series, but win 1 game. And the Mets couldn't even do that. They couldn't even do that. The Braves deserve this division wholeheartedly. Better team. 100% better team. We'll see what happens with playoffs. But for me, as a fan, what I'm now most stressed out about is that you have all these obstacles now instead of potentially having those 5 off days that you would have had to reset your rotation, get everyone feeling great, and hopefully having Starling Marte ready. Do you think Starling Marte is going to be ready by the Padres game? I have no clue. If the Mets have to go that wild card series without Starling Marte, I can't sit here and say that I'll feel comfortable. Regardless of what the Mets have done or lack thereof against the Padres this year, I know playoffs is a different animal. But that was the biggest importance about winning this division. It was to give yourself a leash, a breather, to readjust the rotation, and to make sure that everyone was healthy. Now you're at risk of not having Marte potentially even in the wild card game or series, for that matter. Inexcusable. Danny, thank you for the dono. Love you, brother. Appreciate that a lot. Oh, it'll be against the Phillies? That's what you think? Whoever it's going, I mean, if it's against the Phillies, then sign me up. I'll be happy if the Mets play the Phillies in the wild card. But if it's the Padres, then we'll see what happens with the Padres. I'm not even going to sit here and say that I'll be happy with the Phillies because playoffs are a different animal. I mean, literally anything can happen. Doesn't matter if you're the best team in baseball or just making postseason. I mean, the Braves were an 88-win team last year. 88 wins. In an underwhelming NL East last year, and they went on to win it all. So anything can happen, but still. I'm a Bills fan. Watch Patriots hold the division forever, and the Braves are doing it to the Mets. What are the odds in picking 2 teams like that? Hey, Jack, it happens. It happens. Look, Mets will win the division for sure in the next couple of years. It's not going to be this year. It's not going to be this year. Thank you for the donut, hey, Jack. If the Mets matched up with the Phillies, though, for round 1, that would be nuts. That'd be nuts. And I apologize for focusing on the pot. Who are the Mets lined up to play the Phillies in the wild card right now, or is it the Padres? Which one? I don't know. I don't even know. The format's so messy for me. This feeling sucks. So many great strengths of this team that brought multiple incredible moments to be such a precarious wild card position. I know, Eddie. Thank you for the dono. I hear you and feel you 100% there. Can we discuss getting Ohtani and Judge on the Mets lineup in 2023? We'll worry about that in the offseason, Drew. I appreciate the donation a lot, but last thing I even want to consider talking about is the offseason. I'm ruining the day that the Mets are in the offseason, which could be soon, but I'm ruining that day. Thank you so much for the donut, though, Drew. I appreciate that. Inexcusable, man. Actually inexcusable what they did. Mets are a huge disappointment right now. Too many mistakes. Trade deadline on the field, just garbage effort. San Diego isn't going to be easy. Not surprised if they sweep. Pissed garbage product. Hope Cohen kept the receipt. Yeah, 1,200. I'm pissed too. I'm beyond pissed. I think the Mets will hopefully again have a strong postseason, regardless on how long it goes. But having to start on the wild card with uncertainty on Marte is my biggest concern. It really is. And not only that, I mean, Mets top starters didn't show up in the biggest series this year in a playoff atmosphere. What am I supposed to expect? What am I supposed to expect? Everything's a toss-up. Everything that built up this entire year is now a toss-up for this New York Mets team. Been following them since game one this entire year. And everything that they have accomplished is a toss-up now. Every single thing. Thank you for that donation. I appreciate that. Ty Walker, thank you for the dono. The Mets really let us down. This loss made me shed tears. I'm sure it broke all of our hearts too. And I don't know if I should be mad or sad right now. Emotions are wild. Emotions are wild. This is not a good Sunday night if you're a Mets fan. Simple as that. Not a good weekend. Worst weekend I've experienced as a Mets fan so far this year. Couldn't come at a better time. Really. Thank you for the dono. Yep, Lindor for 5. I love Francisco, but he did not show up this series at all. And to say I'm disappointed isn't enough. I'm beyond pissed off with Lindor's performance. I'm beyond pissed off with Alonso. None of them did what they were supposed to. None of them. Hold on, guys. I'm just trying to get caught up with the donations. Then we'll start to break down the ball game soon. I'm just gutted, guys. I don't care about 100 wins. No award for 100 wins. They collapsed against the easiest part of the schedule. Yes, that's a collapse. They choked is what they did. The Mets completely choked. They choked in the most important final stretch of the year. They choked in the most important series of the year. They 1,000% choked is what they did. Thank you for that dono. Fucking ridiculous. Ed, thank you for the dono. Ben Stars this weekend. Get ready for wild card. Thank you guys also to every single one of you guys, whether you're new viewers here, if you're old viewers, if you've been subscribed to the channel, if this is your first time subscribing, thank you guys so much that have been following the team, following me all year long. Like I said, I love you guys to death. It makes things easier getting to talk with all you guys, even again, when nights like this are so difficult. I feel like I can grieve amongst Mets fans in here, and for Braves fans, whether you're respectful or not. I appreciate everyone being in here. I really do. So thank you guys so much for that. Continue smashing those buttons. We have a Max Scherzer bobblehead that is supposed to give away this weekend, but that's going to be on hold till next week. I'm going to wait until the Mets secure another win. Hopefully that is as soon as tomorrow. So make sure you guys still chime in the post-game shows because we're going to do a giveaway next time the Mets win, which again, hopefully is tomorrow. But man, absolutely gutted right now, guys. Absolutely gutted. I also want to give a big shout out real quick to two people. One is to New York Chat Guy on Instagram, a phenomenal Mets supporter that comes out with a lot of great custom pins, was beyond kind and sent this awesome pin my way. And it's Mr. Met doing the trumpet. And if there was one positive from tonight's game, from a New York Mets fan perspective, it was Edwin Diaz shutting down that bum Contreras in 3 pitches. It's probably the only positive. They cue the trumpets, get the fans going, and Edwin shuts him down because there's only one man that deserves that song. So, NY Chat Guy, thank you so much for that pin. You're an absolute G. I really appreciate that. And also want to give a big shout out to Poodle Cat Crafts, Amanda on Etsy for sending me this awesome custom Mets tumbler. Her boyfriend is apparently a big supporter of mine. So in case you're watching this, thank you so much for the support. Love the tumbler. Going to be using that soon. Shout out to you guys. Again, thank you so much for the custom Mets tumbler, all hand painted, everything. You guys are the absolute best. I really appreciate that. I mean, I've been sent so much amazing Mets things, Mets related things, custom things over the past 2 years since the start of the channel. And I always appreciate it endlessly. So thank you guys so much for that. And again, the bobblehead giveaway, hopefully we will be doing as soon as tomorrow. Gabriel, thank you so much for the dono. Can never get hyped for a season until the end now. Man, I mean, no, I can't say. Again, the Mets have had a phenomenal season, all things considered. It just sucks that, again, they're in that one division this year where you have more than 100-win capable teams. It is what it is. It is what it is. Disgusted, though. Really disgusted. I'm so fucking pissed, guys. You have no idea. I can't even scream. I really don't think I can scream. I'm so gutted that it's like, what's even the point? What's even the point? Truly. If we beat San Diego, I still don't see Mets being Dodgers. I hope I'm wrong. Alexi, however you pronounce your name, let's focus on what's in front of us first before even thinking about a second round, okay? Can't write off anyone or anything. We've learned that by now. Thank you so much for the dono, Sean. Sean says, now I have to go to school and get picked on for this game because I'm like one of the only Mets fans in my school. Sean, I know that feeling 100%. When I grew up, again, I reside in Pennsylvania, was picked on plenty when I was younger in high school being a Mets fan. I know that feeling. I do. Trust me. For me, it was especially around Phillies fans a lot, even though that they didn't have much to talk about because Phillies weren't good when I was in high school. But thank you for that dono. I appreciate it, Sean. Good luck. I wish you well. Let me get some more donations, then we'll break down the ball game. I mean, the donos just keep rolling in, so I just want to try to address them as quick and as best as I can. Appreciate all my members in here, guys. Make sure you continue smashing that like and subscribe on. If I don't know where we are in the like count right now, but we have over 1,000 viewers. If we could try to get a 500 by the end of the live show, that'd be greatly appreciated. And thank you guys so much in advance. If not, that's perfectly fine too. Likes just help, obviously, with getting the show out there, more traction in the channel. Always appreciate that. So thank you kindly. Hog, again, I don't even know how the wild card is matched up. Regardless on who they're playing, the Padres or the Phillies, I'm just not happy about it, simply put. Again, I haven't focused on the wild card format all year because I haven't had to until now. So that's why I don't even know for certain who the Mets will be facing at this juncture. So I'm not focused on the wild card format whatsoever. As a Mets fan, you haven't needed to until now. So there's that. Wardy, no need to be angry. This is just a bad Mets team with a bad manager. No. Judah, you lost me at bad Mets team and bad Mets manager. Okay. We are not going to call a 100-win New York Mets team bad, let alone calling Buck Showalter a bad manager. Are they as good as the Braves? No, they've proven that they are not. Even if that's just by one game, they've proven that they are not this year in the regular season. But to call them bad is just silly. Appreciate that donation. A7, thank you so much for the $5 dono. The team has no fire in them, and they had all season in the last few weeks off the season. They look like they are just going through the motions. They are going through the motions right now. They didn't impress me once this entire series for the most part. Thank you for the dono. Watch what you wish for, Warrior. Phillies love being the Mets. I mean, Mets love being the Phillies. That's why the Phillies only won 5 out of 19 games against the Mets this year. We'll see what playoffs brings, though, whoever they match up with. Can we fire Epler now? No, Epler's not going to get fired. I know you guys are frustrated, but be realistic here, too. Braves outplayed us this series. Yes, they absolutely did. We can't change the result, but we are in the wild card. We came too far to lose hope. Keep the faith, my friend. Bedtime for Bonzo. By the way, this is my first super chat. Appreciate that a lot, Bobby. Thank you so much for the dono. God bless. Have a good night. Yeah, I mean, I'm not losing the faith in the sense of what the Mets can do in postseason. However, I mean, every Mets fan and their mother has every right in the world to be so bothered right now, so disgruntled, so disgusted with what they just witnessed. Again, a 500 ball club in the month of September, entering October. Inexcusable. Inexcusable with how the schedule lined up in your favor on paper. Inexcusable with not even winning one game in this series. I know we got more donations, guys, but I'm going to roll through a quick breakdown of the game. Then I'm going to get into the donos a little bit further, and then I'm going to get out of here because I do have to. I think we're doing the podcast tonight. I don't know for certain, but I don't want to keep the guys hanging too late to record that. So starting off with the first, guys, with 2 outs, Jeff McNeil with a base knock, Alonso with a walk, Eduardo Escobar with a strikeout, ends the inning. In the bottom of the first, with 1 out, Dansby Swanson does what he does best, hits his 3rd home run of the series, hits one off of Jake, hits one off of Max, hits one off of Seabass without a problem. Dansby Swanson proved to be, in my opinion, Dansby made a phenomenal case, for being the better shortstop between him and Lindor in the NL East. As much as that frustrates me, and I know it doesn't all come down to one series. I love Francisco to death. He's someone that's balled out. He's one of the best players in baseball this year. He actually is. He's amazing and wins above replacement. Elite defense, over 100 RBIs. But Lindor not showing up in the biggest series this year, while Dansby Swanson did, really stings. And again, Swanson deserves endless credit for how he performed in this series. He was such a thorn in the Mets side, and they had nothing for him. They did not know how to pitch to him at all. They hung pitches left and right, and he took full advantage of every opportunity given to him. In the second, Vogelbach answers back, thankfully, with that solo bomb. Canna with a single, Guillorme with a ground out, McCann with a strikeout, Nimmo with a single. They would do nothing else at any. In the second, Olsen with a walk, but nothing else happens. In the third, Jeff McNeil with a solo bomb. Jeff, again, with that big golf swing, rips one to right, makes it a 2-1 ball game in the Mets' favor. Alonso with a single, Eddie with an Oppo single, and Daniel Vogelbach with his 2nd RBI of the day with an RBI single pulled in between first and second, beating the shift there and makes it a 3-1 ball game. Canna with a pop out, Guillorme with a strikeout, McCann grounds out to end the inning. That was a frustrating thing. The Mets get on to a 3-1 lead in the third. Still have Eduardo Escobar at third base, runners on the corners with no outs, and they cannot drive in that run with even an RBI sac fly, an RBI ground out, nothing. And surely if the Mets at least added another run to make it a 4-1 ball game, there's a solid chance the Mets do not lose this ball game, or at minimum, go deep, maybe into extras. So just shows you how crucial it is to take as much of an advantage as you're given when the opportunity is there against an Atlanta Braves team, because they sure as hell are going to take advantage of every opportunity that's given to them by the Mets. And that held true in the series, all series long. In the bottom of the third, Arcia with an Oppo single, Acuna with a walk, Swanson with a deep flyout, runners advance, second and third, no outs. Well, 1 out rather. Harris with a strikeout, Riley with a hit by pitch, Olsen with an RBI walk, and then d'Arnaud with a 2-run single. And just like that, in only 2.2 innings, Chris Bassett, who the Mets needed to shove today, did anything but, and he's pulled out of the ball game, not even with the 3rd inning finish. Trevor May comes in, gets a Zuna to pop out to end it. In the 4th, we see Max there. In the 4th, we see Max with a 1-2-3 inning. May, rather, not Max. With 2 strikeouts. In the 5th, with 1 out, Eduardo Escobar singles. Charlie Moore comes out of the game. Southpaw Lee comes in. Alvarez in his first at-bat works an 0-2 count to a 2-2 count. And then I think it was full count or close to. He strikes out. They're solid at-bat for Francisco Alvarez. But again, still a kid that's inexperienced, and you can tell right away that's what happens when you're 20 years old and made your debut 48 hours ago. Canna with a ground out ends the inning. In the 5th, Lugo with a 1-2-3 inning. In the 6th, with 2 outs, Nimmo with a walk. McHugh comes in, and then Lindor with a strikeout. Another brutal strikeout. Lindor struck out terribly on, I want to say, a changeup away twice today. Looked absolutely pathetic from the left side of the plate. Again, one of the worst series I've seen from Lindor in a while. Olsen with a solo home run in the 6th off of Seth Lugo. That increased the lead for the Braves at that juncture 5-3, and it would stay that way. Iglesias comes in, McNeil with a single, Alonso with a pop out, Eddie with a fly out, Alvarez with a ground out, ends the inning on first pitch swinging, gets in on the hands, and a little broken back ground out. In the bottom of the 7th, Drew Smith is in. Arcia with a single, Acuna with a strikeout, Swanson with a walk, Joely would then come in the game, Harris with a strikeout, Riley with a ground out, ends the inning. In the top of the 8th, AJ Minter comes in, Canna with a base knock, Vientos with a strikeout, Nito with a double play, ends the inning. In the 8th, Olsen with a strikeout, Edwin Diaz comes in, d'Arnaud lines out, and Contreras strikes out on 3 pitches, because again, that schmuck has no right to use Narco by Blaster Jacks. There's a reason why the band themselves, the group, said that only Edwin should use it. Again, my only positive tonight as a Mets fan. And in the 9th, Jansen 1-2-3. Hold on, guys. I'm trying to get caught up here. Bear with me, because I know there were donations, so I want to make sure I do not miss any. We are going to be wrapping up the show, though, probably. Probably within the next 10 minutes, I would say. because then I have to go and do the podcast. But let me try to get to these. Bear with me, guys. Hold on. Alien, thank you so much for Dono. I'm extremely disappointed, but I'm not giving up on this team. We'll bounce back and have a magical postseason. Stay resilient, Wardy and fellow Mets fans. I will do my absolute best, Alien. Thank you so much for the Dono. Love the optimism there. Charlie, thank you so much for the donut. Charlie says, Braves fan here. Taking the division from the Mets was amazing because of how well they played this year. Season's not over. I agree. Season's not over 100%, Charlie. And again, I appreciate the donation and the kind words. Again, Braves were 100% the better team. You guys deserve this. As gutted and as much as it pains me to say, you guys absolutely were. Good luck the rest of the way, even though naturally I don't want to wish Braves luck. But again, they were the better team. Juan Diaz, great member. Thank you so much for the dono. Juan says, look, I think we were putting too much energy on this series. Yes, the Mets sucked, but the playoffs is a different animal. Contact and great pitching wins playoff games, not power. I still have faith in my Mets. Juan, I still have faith in the Mets too. It's not an issue of faith, Juan, but the issue is the fact that the Mets lost the division by dropping this series. That's why this series is so amplified. And the bigger issue is that the Mets could have avoided this weekend being the decider of the division if they just played Compton baseball against the Chicago Cubs, against the Washington Nationals, and against the Miami Marlins in the month of September. But what did they do? They did the complete opposite. They went 2-6 against those teams. 2-6. So that's the issue here. And the home run ball has proven a favor in playoffs. Contact has too, absolutely. But especially if the Mets don't have a fully healthy Starling Marte, there's rightful concerns. And pitching, this was a playoff series type atmosphere with everything on the line. And Mets pitching did not step up. I pray that things change come playoff time. I'm going to be there in Queens for game 1 on Friday, which I believe is when the first wildcard game is supposed to be. I still believe in this team no matter what. But to say I'm happy, to say I'm encouraged right now is the farthest thing from the truth. Thank you so much for that donut, brother. I appreciate it. We're not beating the Padres or the Phillies, bro. Judah, we'll find out. Thank you for the donut. Hold on, guys. I'm just trying to get caught up with all the donations. Thank you guys all so much for being in here as we've been breaking down Mets series sweep, being swept by the Atlanta Braves in Atlanta. MDY, thank you so much for doing it. I can't take this anymore. The Mets need to make a big offseason move and get a proven winner, someone like Jason Giambi. I'll hang up and listen. Kind of fucked up to say. Thank you so much for the dono. Robert, thank you so much for the dono. Appreciate that. They will play against Padres. I hate this. Yeah, we'll see. Again, we'll see what happens either way. Thank you for the dono. Scott, I've watched all 159 games. That makes the two of us. This team had fight and emotion the whole year. This series, you could just tell by their body that they were dead. Yeah, the body language wasn't there. The confidence wasn't there. The swagger wasn't there. Very little of that. Or anytime that the Mets started to build that, and that was all in hand with Jeff McNeil, really, this entire series. Every time that they tried to build momentum, they lost it right away because they gave up. They gave those runs right back to the Rays. Matthew, thank you so much for the dono. Be honest, who would you want on your team? Alonso or Olsen? Go Braves. Oh, still Alonso every day. Alonso is still the better first baseman. Not even an argument. Alonso may have not showed up in this series, but I'm still taking Alonso, 100%. Olsen's a great first baseman, one of the best in the league. He's still not Pete Alonso. Thank you for the donut. Philip, that's really sweet of you. We do have a Venmo that is tagged in the description down below and pinned on the channel overall if you look on the YouTube channel. If you do want to donate, if so, thank you so much for that. You do not need to do that, especially as a Braves fan. but I appreciate it no less. Just the consideration means a lot. Thank you. Dustin with the $5 dono. Thank you so much. Steve Hampton, thank you for the kind words. Appreciate everyone's donations. We still love you, bro. I love you too, Josh. I know that you've been sleeping on the couch all weekend because your Braves won and your girls Mets lost. So it's, it's victories, but at a cost. All-Star Contreras. Yeah, the All-Star that was picked by the bias snit and got struck out on 3 pitches tonight. Yep, that same Contreras. You got it. Is Marte done for the year? Regular season, he may be. But when it comes to playoffs, I don't know. He's such a wild card. He just hasn't been clear to be able to grip a bat or a baseball yet. So things are still toss-up with him. Braves fan here, and you won me over last night with your passion for your team, bro. True passion. Love it. I appreciate that, Harris. Thank you so much. Again, regardless on who you guys are a fan of, I appreciate it. I'm going to keep it a buck with you guys. Again, I'm not going to be that. I can gladly be a schmuck, as I say on my shirt all the time. Again, the description down below, shop.bleav.com. And I can be an ass plenty of times, but I'm never not going to call it how it is. When the Mets were completely outplayed, outclassed, and that was in full effect this series, wholeheartedly. Horrible series, but at least we play at home in the wild card game. Just got to stay positive. That is true. Again, that's a huge advantage for the Mets. Thank you so much for the donut, brother. Donta, thank you so much for the kind words too. Wellington with the $20 donation. I appreciate that. You guys have been way too generous to a schmuck like me who's just grieving in pain after a Mets series sweep. I really appreciate every single one of you guys. It does help a lot. I mean, we're full-time on YouTube. All the revenue goes back into the channel. So thank you so much for that. Let's see. Moses Corona. What's up, Wardy Mets fan from Indianapolis? I'm so broken right now. You're not the only one. My boy, Darren. Greatest Mets fan you'll ever meet from the UK. He's heartbroken too. It's like, what, 4 a.m. for him right now. I feel for you, brother. I do. We're grieving together, my man. Ed, thank you so much for the dono. Silver Line Pen was good, but we should just get ready for postseason wins this week. I mean, absolutely nothing. I agree. I think postseason prep is most important. I still think, though, that making sure that you win this final series is important because momentum is important. Momentum is very important. But yes, prepping for postseason is all that matters at this juncture. The Mets are in playoffs. They'll be in the wild card. They are not going to win the division. You feel like you've just been broken up with, Darren? Yeah, that's how much this shit hurts. It really does. Green, thank you for the dono. Braves fan here. Division not over yet. Mets can get hot in the playoffs either way. Hope not, but I wouldn't doubt it. Appreciate the dono. When it comes to who's going to win the division, the division's over. I mean, if the Braves don't win the division, it will be truly more of a choke job than what the Mets was this weekend. All the Braves need is one win or one Mets loss. You're really going to tell me the Braves won't secure one win in a 3-game set against Miami Marlins? I mean, come on. Not going to happen. Thank you so much for that. Probably one of the most idiotic things you could hear out there, getting drilled on the hand, something that's happening multiple times. But yeah, he's soft. It's not like the Mets have been hit more than any other team in MLB's history in one season before. It's okay to say you're a casual fan. I get it. McBland, thank you so much for the dono. Nobody wants to hear it now, but it's the truth. This stinks, but until the Mets lose in the playoffs, it ain't over. Oh, 100%. Big Lady Insane. Until that day, Big Bertha is still sitting here wide behind backstage. I agree. Again, anything can happen come postseason. We'll be covering them to a T once we get to that point. But yeah, we're just at an all-time low right now. So what happens when you have the division in your grasp for the entirety of a 162 season, basically, and you just lost it, like officially. Continue smashing on like and subscribe on, guys. Greatly appreciate it. Help us get to a couple hundred likes by the end of the live show. Really does mean a lot. I don't know where we are in the like count now, but thank you guys all so much in advance. Really does mean a lot to me. Mello with the $5 dono. 10.5 up to 2 back pain. Every year we find a way to fall apart. 100 wins in a division would have been awesome to start this Buck Cone regime. Again, it would have 100%, but Mets will probably just have to settle with 100 wins because the Atlanta Braves, one of the best teams in baseball, respectively, are right there. Thank you for that dono. Steve, thank you so much for the $10 dono. I appreciate you a lot. All right, guys, I'm going to address these last donations and I have to wrap up the show because I got a podcast to worry about, which I'm not happy to record. It's not going to be fun. Lindor and Alonso completely no-showed. Agreed. Sorry, Scherzer and DeGrom kept them in the game. Scherzer didn't yesterday. I disagree with that. Max couldn't even go 6 innings, gave up 4 earned runs. He wasn't sharp at all. Jake kept them. Jake was the only Mets starter that actually kept the Mets like comfortably for the most part in the ball game. Max didn't, in my opinion. And today, Seabass surely did not. Thank you so much for the dono. Steve, thank you so much again for another $10. You're the best. Really does mean a lot. Pissed off because of what happened in the series, but let's rest our guys. No reason to shoot for 100 wins and not rest our guys for the wildcard series. Whatever's best for the team is what I'm in favor of, truly. If rest is best for them, then okay. If rest is going to make them get out of rhythm, then don't do it. Whatever's best. Do you ever think the New York Mets and the New Jersey Nets ever get together for dinner? Wouldn't know, Seaful, and I'm not a Nets fan, so I don't think about it. Appreciate the dono though. Zoder, thank you for the dono. Mets almost blow trumpets as hard as leads. Quite original. Did you come up with that one yourself? Couldn't tell. Dustin, thank you so much for your dono. I'm a Braves fan, but still confused by how they won 5-3 with 5 hits to 11. You and I both, Dustin. There's a difference between quality hitting and getting hits that don't mean shit when you don't know how to drive them in. As a Braves fan, I would like to give you back the trumpet song. Diaz certainly took it. He's had it the whole time. But yeah, I appreciate that, Edgar. Sorry for your loss, bro. Me too. Thank you. John, I think this is going to paint a bad picture of our rotation to other teams. If the Braves can do what they did at our guys so easily, it makes us less of a threat. Hopefully, the Mets can just perform as advertised in postseason, though. Per them, Ron. Steve, thank you for the dono. 2021 Braves record was 88. Yep, exactly. The Braves mowed down everyone in front of them in the World Series. Love the channel, Warrior. Thank you so much, Steve. I appreciate that. I love you too, brother. Larry, thank you for the $5 dono. Where I found out the wildcard Phillies will play Cardinals, Mets, San Diego. Again, whoever it's going to be, Mets just need to make sure they're ready. Thank you for the dono. Very disappointed. I know, Dominic. Great member. Be proud of your Mets. Most years, it's enough to win the division. The NL East has the best 2 teams. No, I agree. I'm very proud of my Mets and what they've done this year. I'm not proud of what they have done this series, let alone this past month, however. That's why we're so disappointed because, again, we followed this team to a T. We expect better, and they didn't show up when we needed them to. Fern, thank you for the dono. Appreciate that. Yeah, we'll see what happens with the Phillies come postseason. John, thank you for the dono. John says, Pete in his post-game interview said the Mets played well. Last year he said we got this and that it was, this is fun. Stop talking, Pete. Sorry. It's okay, brother. Thank you for the dono. Guys, I do apologize, though. I do have to wrap up the show now. I'm trying to get all the donations I can as fast as I can, but I do have to go cover the podcast. I'm covering the Mets all season. You got to Bleav, Ori. Absolutely. You always got to Bleav, no matter what. Thank you so much for that donation, Smitty. You're the best. Appreciate you guys to death. Thank you so much for the donut poor performance, but we'll get ready for the wild card game. Mets will play better. I have confidence in them, as do I. It's not, confidence may have hurt quite a bit from this weekend, but I will always have confidence in this team until the very end. Rob, thank you for the dono. Sure up those prospects we didn't move at the deadline, pan out. Not impressed so far. Small sample size. I wouldn't gripe about the prospects much as I would with the Mets and having to be relying on them down the stretch this year. Steelers, Rangers. Thank you for the dono, Ethan. Anthony, I don't know what I just said. All right, guys, that's going to do it for the show. Thank you guys all so much for watching and listening. I'm gutted. Now I got to go talk about being gutted even more, breaking down what was an atrocious series. I love you all to death. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll be back live tomorrow, I'm sure. Hopefully after a Mets win. Man, though, this is tough. Tough pill to swallow. Mets have pretty much dropped the division after having it in their grasp all year. They choked, and now we move forward. I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a great rest of your night, day, evening, whenever you're watching this. This is Rory signing out. Love you guys to death. All my trolls, all my lovers, all my haters. Talk to you guys again soon. God bless, guys. Let's go, Mets.